Hey fam. So, I wanted to ask, I'm a small creative, right? And I'm in college right now currently. I just graduated and I start UCF in the fall. So I'm excited and I'm a small creative and I'm majoring in digital media. I like film, I like graphic design, I love poetry, I love writing too. I do open mic nights and I like do inspiring speeches because I wanted to use my voice to really like uplift people. I see the good in everybody and I feel like everybody has potential and I just wanted to use my voice to be that like positive energy. And the thing is like I don't know, like I wanted to like make money off of like, content creating. Like I wanted to get more into that. I created film shorts and I have like motivational videos on YouTube as well. And I also like music, so I want to get more into instrument playing and I sing as well and I have some songs written. But the thing is like, as a person who authentically and genuinely loves like what she does, like me loving what I do, like I guess the question is like, how can I capitalize off of it, but not in a sense of like, oh well, I'm just gonna capitalize just to make money and that's it. No, in a way that so that I can like I guess still support myself in what I like doing. But the thing is like I don't like what everyone else does is like they just sign labels, they sign all these contracts, and I don't want to do that. Like I don't want to be like I don't want to be approached by those people who are like, hey, we see you have talent, sign contracts, sell your soul. Like I'm not, no, like what am I gonna give away my soul for all eternity just to be controlled by other pawns? That doesn't make any sense. But I don't know, like I just feel like I just wanted to like I guess get myself out there more. But then again, everything's energy and the money's energy, everything's energy. But it's like, I don't want to do it based off of like, oh, would sell your soul. Because I feel like when I see most creatives out here now, not all of them, but like, I guess some mainstream and even some like underground ones, they always sign a contract. And I'm like, well, I want to be known, but like for inspiring people. And I want to like, have like the financial support, to do these things. But I don't want to, what I'm saying? Like, I don't want these companies to like be like, oh yeah, sign all these contracts and sign this, if that makes any sense.
Celestial rising, divine afternoon, and grand night to the beautiful divine spot that we ended up finding, because I wanted to just exclude myself from society. I just wanted to be away to make this divine message. But it's your divine reflection, divine messenger, and we are back with another message. And if you choose to, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. And for today, this is going to be a supporter video. So shout out to Miss Ariel Carter for this voice message. I have my iPad, but my iPad died on the charger. It's like, okay. But she basically, so if you heard this voice note in the beginning of the video, she basically was implying that she's a small creator and she wants to have a voice that can uplift people. And she wants to be known for that. Not saying there's anything wrong with wanting to be known in this world, because who wouldn't want to be acknowledged for their works and what their craft is? But which craft are we talking about? Which is exactly why, if you choose to, make sure you like, comment, subscribe for more divine messages. But let's go ahead and get into it. Because it's a great day. It's Sunday. Well, honestly, it's really Saturday to me, but actually, it's really no day of the week. But so when she was saying, excuse me, she wanted to be a voice to uplift people, and she just didn't want to sign contracts. She didn't want to be approached by those people, and people I'm talking about. And she basically wants to be able to go a different route without having to sell her morals, sell her dignity. And the thing is, this video, this is going to be open-minded. No matter what you do, you're going to be approached by beings that do what they do. These beings know what to do to get you to sign over to their, let's say, hypnosis, because they understand that if your mom and dad, if they're not on the same exact equilibrium as you, if they're not on the same exact type of wavelength as where you're going in life, then they're not going to let your family stop you from what you're doing, because they realize too that the mom and dad, they're the mediums into stopping you from going into those realms that they already went into. Because realistically, all of our moms and dads, not all of us, but majority of people's moms and dads are in masonry. They are in occultism, they are in secret societies, and they have signed over to different deities that don't look like us, but they look just like us in different costumes or different shades of a costume that we all hide behind. And the thing is too, whenever you start to realize that, you understand they get you away from your family. So that's exactly why too you age. And it's just like how they're doing it. How I noticed, it's like for some strange reason, they know who we are. And that's exactly why they are able to script out. If you study gematria, they know how to script out all of our lifestyles. And when this happens, no matter what you do, they're gonna make it seem as if you're so desperate to get into this realm to where you do anything you can to get to where they are. But that's the catch right there. That's the bait. That's the trap. The trap is you go through this school system, you go through elementary school, you go through middle school, you start finding out what your hobbies are, you start finding out what your joy is. So you said that you do open mic, and you said that you do all this and that for other people as well, including yourself, which is nothing wrong with that at all whatsoever. But the thing is though, they understand that you're looking for something more. I mean, who isn't? A lot of us want to have that freedom to where we don't have to be dependent on our moms and our dads, which is, to me, financial freedom. Not only just that, mental freedom, physical freedom, and you also have to be spiritually free as well to get away from the spiritual enslavement that our moms and dads will be under, because they feel as if the things that we do or the route that we're going on isn't worth it till they see the money coming in. That's the only way that your family will take you serious, is when the money starts coming in. But in order for you to be that voice to uplift people, you have to uplift yourself. By uplifting yourself, that means that you never give up on yourself just because you can see something or easy route that you think you want to take, but that route you want to take will cost you your life. That's exactly why going into these realms where people are easily getting anything loaned to them, and I understand as well, that lifestyle, that's exactly why too, social media is a drug, which is why you have to find out other avenues outside of the internet. So the internet or social media should be something that you do. It shouldn't be something that you hold on to every single day. It shouldn't be your main source of income. So you have to start doing things in reality. Start doing things for your community. Now, somebody would say too, fuck the community. But they're only saying that when they make some money, because they feel as if them pouring into the community does nothing for them. But you weren't for the community anyways, and you're not a real person, because an authentic being, we don't do things for the betterment of ourselves, because no matter what, we are always going to be better than ourselves. But the people who are becoming famous, the ones who are becoming local pop stars, local superstars, those people, they only come back to their hoods or the suburbs if it benefits them. So if somebody's throwing an event, or a school's throwing an event, or if they paying them to perform or do this and that, that's the only way that these people will come back to their communities to give back to them. But what are they giving back to them if it's not really money? And people will sit here and dress up and look up to par. They'll put on their makeup, get haircuts, and they'll impress this sacrifice as if the sacrifice can help them get into those realms. But the beings who are known and famous, they won't tell you what they did to get into those societies. So they understand hand symbolism, the oath of Hippocrates. I could be saying it wrong. I know it's the H, but that oath, so the oath of silence or whatever. So when you're taking that silent oath, that lets you know that no matter what you did, you can't tell people what you did. Because if you tell somebody what you did, then that goes to show that you weren't abiding by the rules that Freemasonry has taught you to follow, because they want you to become obedient to Luciferianism, but it's still washed with Christianity on top of it. Because if you can wash Christianity on top of a satanic ritual or satanic ritualistic acts, then the people who are outside wanting to look in, they'll think as if, oh, they're doing it for Jesus Christ. So of course they got fellowship, they got love for this power, but they call this power the architect of the universe. So if you're calling or you're describing a higher power as a divine architect, then you're describing what Lucifer is to you, because God is not the architect of this universe, because the God of this universe is what they would consider to be Luciferianism. But the thing is, I'm not sitting here saying that God is not an existent being, because for when I do believe, first of all, I don't believe in a God, but I know what this God would be. But this God has no title for us to even consider itself to be God-like. Because for one, the being of God is not like God. That's the paradox of what God would never call itself. That's exactly why when people are saying, or when Masons are saying, do you believe in a higher power or do you believe in God or whatever the case may be? I don't sit here and think or believe in a title that's considered to be what you think it is, but I know what that frequency is. It's a vibration or an infinite feeling that we all have to sit with and resonate with. And once you resonate with that vibration, you stop doing things for money. That's exactly why they want people to start doing things for money, because now when you're saying you don't want to sign contracts, this and that, that's your solar awareness telling you that you're something more than a bondage that you would have to keep up with. And that bondage will make sure, basically, when you sign that contract, you're going to have to owe them something. And that can be your life, your family, it can be your finances, it can be your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your best friend. It can be somebody that you hold dearly to you. But they want to make sure that no matter what you hold dearly to you, you got to get rid of that. And that can be sex as well. It can be your lifestyle, going out to party, doing things like going to the movies, going on dates, dating apps, social media. You got to start doing things now to outwork your past self, because they're going to approach you no matter what. And I can't sit here and say they won't approach you, because it's happened to me. That's how I know that this stuff is not a fallacy, but it's determined as a fallacy because people, they can't get into these doors. And the thing is, a lot of people want, I just gotta make sure, because bruh, I don't want any buzz in my fucking head. But a lot of people, they want to be able to get into these realms because that's what makes them feel better again. Because they want to get close to those celebrities. But these celebrities do not care about you. Not only just that, they're not even real people. That's the problem right there. The mirages that we think are physical is a false light bearing on the light side what the moon is projecting. So everything comes from that satellite above our head anyways. And because they were able to gravitate this being, or this luminescence, this false luminance or luminescent being, into our auric field. Now this auric field has been fluctuated into an imbalance. So everything in this world is false light. That's exactly why Freemasons are teaching you what the light is, and you still can't bear that light. So if you were to sign yourself away to these industries, you're going to keep climbing and climbing Jacob's ladder. As you keep climbing to the highest peak, you'll get so far into enlightenment to where it'll get bright, and then you'll forget to hold on to that ladder because you are climbing up to reaching a certain knowledge that you wanted to obtain. But then when you obtain that knowledge, you'll now fall down into a frequency that you used to be at. And then when you're going back to that vibration that you were already holding on to, now you won't be able to grow up into the being that you were supposed to be the whole entire time, while observing yourself not holding on to money that never belonged to you. Because the more money you make, the more money you owe them, the more your life will start to accept being in bond, or being in a bond that you are not able to pay off, or a debt that you can't pay off. Yeah, that's the thing. Being a celebrity, it comes with a cost. It comes with a price. And that price literally is your solar awareness. That's exactly why it's not just social media. It's literally mind control. It's literally mind control. And not just that, excuse me, you have to be able to study the algorithm. You have to be able to not get comfortable in the results that are promoting themselves onto your life, because for one, the things that you're going up against, the things that you're gravitating towards, they don't belong to you. But that's exactly why too, when you start doing things for yourself, you go outside of yourself and see that, you know what, when I make videos for myself and other people as well, the money will always come. And the thing is, so you have to be able to say no to them, because they can promise you and give you a life that you've never seen before. And a lot of times too, it's not what you can do. Well, no, it's not what they can do for you, it's what you can do for them. So you won't be living your life anymore. Everything that you'll be doing now will be handled, it'll be controlled. And then when they control your life, now the people who follow you, the people who look up to you, who are inspired by you, they'll start emulating things that you do, because they want to mimic the being that you're being in. Because what being are you being in where you're not playing a role of the script that they made for you? That's exactly why you have 2 different paths or 3 different doors. And when you go through these doors, you got to realize too, these doors are not meant to be walked into, because they're not meant for you to be close with. You can't be close with these doors that never belong to you, because they're veils. So it's like if you walk in, so Miss Ariel, because you're in college, and obviously, your mind's going to develop into understanding that your creativity matters more than what they think your creativity means, because they want your creativity to benefit themselves. That's exactly why when we're all starting out young, a lot of our families will put us into situations that they know it's a detriment for our spirit, but they want to be able to see how intuitive we are within our spiritual capabilities and our genetics, because we have to fight the wars that our parents chose us to go up against. So now when you're going up against a war that your mom and dad gave you, you have to not understand that everything you do, everything that you see, everything that you're going up against is a war against yourself, because you chose to come here through the choices that your mom and dad decided not to be conscious in. Because a conscious being would not walk into these realms and sign themselves up to be in Luciferianism. Because what does it do for you? Besides keeping you stuck in the same consciousness that you wanted to escape from. Exactly why, even with spiritual consciousness, because outside of spirituality, there is no consciousness and unconsciousness. Excuse me. So when you become the observer of your whole entire existence, you now get to exist outside of the beings that want you to start killing yourself. Shout out to the Dragonfly. How you doing? And peace, love, and prosperity to you. Confirmation though. But that's exactly why you have to start doing things for yourself. I feel as if you'll make it in life, and you can make it without the machine. You can make it without the system, because understand too, the machine of AI is going to push out and promote the beings they know is artificial intelligence. That's exactly why AI is on the come up for, and the premise, it's on a rise of being better than, let's say, I can't even say human beings, because niggas ain't even human no more. But AI is doing better than the average influencer. And they're going to start making more money. They're going to start getting more likes, more attention. And then the person who's making the prompt, they'll start making the money that you should have been making the whole entire time. But that's a trap right there too, because they want you to start doing trends. They want you to start doing different topics. They want you to start doing things that make you fit into the crab in the bucket mentality. But what separates you from the masses? You have to constantly pose outside of your comfortability. Because the more you get comfortable, the more you start doing things for them. When you do things for you, they can't tell you what to do, because the best way to post content is doing it for your future self. That's the only way that it should matter, because the money will come in when you're being righteous. And when you're doing that, they have no choice but to pay you, because they noticed that you weren't selling out. They want you to get to that point. And here's a false dopamine as well from synthetic consciousness. They want you to be able to get to the point to where now you're going into the extent of you're giving yourself away. And then when you do that, you're now going to sit there, you're going to go on social media, you're going to see the things that they're doing for you. You're going to start loaning money, you're going to start loaning cars, houses, girls or guys. You're going to start loaning jewelry, start loaning attention, start loaning different, let's say, promotions, events, all that stuff for you. Now when that happens, they're going to sit there and watch you. This nigga's in here. They're going to sit here and watch you live a life that you were never supposed to be living. But then they'll watch what you're going to become through their eyes. And their eyes are going to lie to you, because for one, you're not supposed to be that being. But because you're being this being, now it's like you're not focusing on the being that you should have been for the present moment of yourself. Now, when you're focusing on yourself, there is no doing things for likes, attention, comments, follows, shares, none of that. Because what are you doing it for if you're not doing it for your future? And then as well, if you want a family, do it for them as well. Because once again, the currency will always come in when you realize that you are the abundance focusing on yourself. If you're not focusing on yourself, then the money can attract to you. But if you're not doing it just for money, then what are you doing it for? Let's take away likes, let's take away comments, let's take away shares, let's take away DMs, let's take away just the trending things on social media. Let's take away all the things that don't matter. What are you doing it for? And how are you doing it for yourself? If you're not doing it for yourself, then you're wasting your time. Because content creation should be a lifestyle that you have to start focusing on. Not saying you should be focusing on it, but if you're in college, go find your major. Go do something that can help benefit you for, let's say, your purpose. And then not only just that, let social media be like the background character in your story. Let social media be like that other route that you can go down if you choose to go down it. But the real thing is, what are you doing to help your career get started? What are the things that you can do to help save you from the beings that want to basically get rid of you? Because they want to freeze your consciousness and time. And by doing that, they got to see what you're doing, see what you're coming up as. And then they're going to start putting certain things in your lifestyle to where now you have no choice, because your mom can't help you, your dad can't help you, your siblings can't help you. So if these people can't help you, where will you go to? You'll go to the realms that want you to give them your energy so they can harvest off of it. Not only just that, they'll make sure they can make replicas of your consciousness. So you'll also have clones as well in society. So it's like you'll have a life that's meant for you, but then you'll get to a certain extent in that life that's supposed to be rich, to where now you'll be like, damn, I got all this that I wanted from social media. I signed that contract, but it's like, at what cost? What did I do it for? I'm not really where I want to be, and nobody can help you. Nobody can tell you why you should have did this or what could have happened if you didn't do that, but you did it anyways. So it's like if you're doing things that go outside of your morality, then you're going to lose your spirit in the process. And that's the whole entire point, to lose your spirit in the process, because every time you process a new thought, that thought now has to be controlled by your way of living, by being righteous in your actions, by going outside and doing things not for the money. Once again, don't do things for a currency that never belonged to you. That's the whole delusion. They want you to do things for your own delusion, because now it's like, okay, my delusion got me into the predicament that I'm in right now, and I can pay my way out of it. But there'll come a time to where now when that money stops coming in, who you gonna lean on? Because remember, you were paying for everybody else's way of living, but what happened with your way of living? Nobody was worrying about you. Nobody was focusing on your way of life. So now when you're on your last, because they stopped, they cut ties with the partnerships that you had, what you gonna do now? Who gonna feed you? Your family depended on you, to where now they became so dependent on you, they stopped working for themselves. That's the whole entire point. They want you to be the sacrificial lamb, to where now you did so much for them, to where all they can do is say, oh yeah, my daughter got this, my son got this and that, they got this or whatever, so I ain't worried about nothing. But it's like, no, you gotta tell people no, and it's okay to say no, because you gotta understand that this life is meant for you to be living, not for them to be living, because they want to live through you. That's the whole entire point. And then as well, they can transfer your consciousness through the embodiment that you want to become. So you gotta realize too, we're just switching consciousness and all of that as well, because when you go in, this nigga talking behind a tree, but I can't make this shit up. When you go into these realms, when you're climbing up this industrial complex of the workforce, being famous or even just being a labor worker, when you climb into these different industries or fraternities and sororities as well, you're gonna also have to join in a cult. You're gonna have to join a group that most people will tell you, you don't have to join, but if you choose to get into higher ranks, you should join it. I'm not telling you that you should join it, but they'll tell you you should join this realm if you want to become better. But it's like, no, because it's not worth it, because these same exact people, they can't be better for themselves, because they're constantly giving their money, what's it called? They're giving like consultations to the same exact beings that waste their time and harvest their energy. And then when you're shifting consciousness, because that's the thing as well, you can transmute that consciousness into a different body. So when you're doing that, now it's like the person's going to sit here, you're going to go into the realm, you're going to talk to them, get to know them, exchange different ideas with them and all that. And so once you're doing that with different lessons, now it's like they're going to sit here, they're going to do some type of device, some type of, what's the word I'm looking for? They're going to do some type of mechanic to where they're going to put their mind into your body, to where now your body's not even belonging to you anymore. All because you want to be a content creator. That's exactly what a lot of content creators, they can't sit with themselves authentically and give you what's on their mind. They have to give you a script. They have to give you something that was handled to them, a certain lesson that was handled to them, because they're not able to sit with themselves and tell the truth about what they have going on, which is exactly why I don't mind sitting with myself, and I don't like when people come around my videos and listen to what I got going on, or they have a certain opinion on what I should say and how I should say it. It's like, no, that's the thing right there. You're not doing this for anybody else, you're doing it for you. But when you start doing it for them, you lost yourself. So I'm watching All Eyes on Me. And because I'm watching this movie, I'm just sitting here. This weekend has been rest, but learning while resting. So exactly why for today, I'm making videos for y'all that I'm just learning about. I just watched the movie 28 Years Later yesterday or last night, and that was it was an odd movie for sure, but it just taught me a lot about just the mind as a whole. But, excuse me. So, All Eyes on Me, I was understanding how Tupac, and his mom, his mom on drugs, taking cocaine or crack, fentanyl, whatever. And that's exactly, his father wasn't in his life, but his stepfather got arrested and all that, got locked up, was wanted and all that by the FBI for becoming conscious, for speaking up about consciousness. So now Tupac had nobody else to lean on but the industry. So it was like it's all determined, it's all predetermined, it's all scripted anyways. They're all actors. And once you become an actor, there is no Miss Ariel anymore. They're gonna tell you who Miss Ariel is, and you better follow it or else. And that could be your life. And if you don't want to go down that route, I suggest, me personally, do just being compassionate, do the truth. You should start posting when we don't have anybody watching you, because then you can see who really genuinely is watching your come up. That's how it has to be now, because basically in this world, when you're known in the spiritual realm, you shouldn't have to chase fame. You don't have to be like everybody else, because when you're, so for example, from my experience, I was placed into different predicaments and different scenarios with celebrities, because that's how our vibrations aligned up with just my skills and my talents that I was able to be gifted with. Now, a lot of times I'm using my gifts in different ventures that I want to adventure in. But for you, you got to find out what you're talented in, because you can see them and they notice you. That's the thing as well. The focus is always going to be on you, because they're not famous, they're not known. They'll know you when they see that you're not lusting after them, you're not sexualizing them, you're not focusing on them like everybody else. So the people that follow them, those are the ones under the hive mind. Those people under the hive mind don't know who they're following. But the people that follow you, the people who had a convo with you, the people who were able to connect with you, these are your real people. These are the people who genuinely want to see you win and succeed. Those are the people who deserve your support, because they see that all that you went through when you had maybe 1 view, 10 views, 20 views, they seen all that you went through. So where now you inspire them to go through exactly what you went through. And that's how you're able to help them. It's not about what you can do for people. It's about how you can make them feel and what they're suffering in. It's not about what you can do for people. It's about what you can do for these people and how they can feel in their suffering, because people are suffering. And the thing is too, how can you make the rich feel better? Because that's all it's going to be anyways. And there is no such thing as poor, middle class, and rich. All it is just rich against, beings who aren't even conscious. But when you feel better spiritually, when you become enriched within the practices that you do every single day, you're becoming a better being. That's all it is. Be a better being. Don't do this shit for social media. Just remember, social media is the veil of our thoughts being projected out loud. So everything that you see on streaming, Facebook, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, all these things are just thoughts that come from higher mirages that have been, let's say, magnetized into the viewpoint that we want to see ourselves in. But you're not making a video. You're not doing it for you. You're not doing it for your future. You're not doing it for your kids. And you damn sure ain't doing it for beings that you never seen before, because when you see them, you're going to wish that you never seen them before, because they will approach you and they know who you are, and they will look just like you. They'll look even regular. They may even look as if they're not important in society, but that's the importance that society cannot comprehend. They're so important to where they'll tell you what you can do with your life and how you'll do it, because they know the future. They made it up. That's the problem right there. Not only just that, you are their future, because without us, there would be no them. That's why they hide in secret. So now when you understand why they hide in secret, you gotta realize that, for one, if you go the route that they want you to go down, you basically invite them to embody your consciousness, to where now it's gonna be put into the shelf in the back of your mind, and all you would do is watch somebody live out your life, and you'll watch them through your eyes. But you have no say so. You have no way of living. You have no way of feeling anymore. There is no way of being for you. There will be no solar awareness behind your window, because now the window to your eyes or your solar awareness has been depleted. So now the being, this parasite that has shifted into your mind, is now telling you what they want you to do for them. So if you're not making videos for you, then who are you making videos for? If you're not making topics for you, if you're not learning for you, then who are you learning for? If you're not doing things to help out yourself, and you're not becoming better within your thoughts, then who are you diminishing your thoughts for? Who are you relying on? That's what they want. They want you to rely on them so that they can help your life out. But that's the bait, and that's the trap right there. The trap is going after that money, or wanting to sell your signature so that they can profit off of it. They want you to be a circus act. They want you to be in entertainment. They want you to be entertaining, because remember, it's all about mind control. It's all about hypnosis. If you want to be entertaining in this world, how long can you do it for? That's exactly why only the strongest will survive in that realm, because like comedians, for example, all the people who are actors, like all these people are actors. They want to get into movies. They want to get into films. They want to get into video making, content creation, and all that. They're doing it because society is bored. If you know that society is bored and you realize what people want to focus on, then you can put the focus on you. Because people are in their house 24/7 looking at certain trends that conscious beings or hard workers don't care about. So if you think about it, people are focusing on Iran and Israel going to war or whatever. And people on Twitter, Instagram making jokes, or on TikTok making jokes, talking about their peace and what they think about it and this and that, with Trump doing all that. You see what social media does to people's minds? Like the real world, the real war is in here. All that exists is just here because, for one, I don't see any bombs going off. I don't know why people get on the internet. They believe what they see, not knowing that what they see is an act that comes from the beings that will approach you. It's like ever since I've been, what's the word I want to look for? Ever since I've been approached by, their development, I understood that this shit means nothing. This world means nothing when you realize you can detach from it. Because your detachment from this world is able to help you transcend into realms that do matter. Because all that matters is your conscious choices every single day. And the thing is too, the older you get, the more of those choices that we make for today, they will harm us or they can better us for the time that we do become more aged or aging. The more you're aging, you'll now be able to become more wise in the things that you decide to become dumb in as you were younger mentally. But that's the thing though, within the lesson. Life is the lesson to see who's going to have faith in a being that they can't see or you can't even name. If you have more faith in the choices that you make, then you can't fail. You only fail when you go against the grain of what you were supposed to be following. And that's your purpose that you can't even see. So basically my physicality right here. I know that in my genetics, my purpose is guiding me away from money. So it's like I can make a video all the time without having attention. Why is that? Because it feels good to make videos when nobody's watching. Like I got so used to that I'll be surprised if I ever get over 100K views on a video. Now it's happened on TikTok and all that, but I mean as far as YouTube, because once that happens, my life is going to change. And at that point, I gotta adapt to that change. I can't run from it because if I'm making videos on a platform that's open to the realm, I gotta be ready for what's to come with it. And I know what I'm doing it for, but the thing is though, I'm not doing it for that indication that I can't follow. I can't follow that high mind, because once that high mind approaches you and I, who are we doing it for? Because remember, it's like an addiction. They constantly want your videos. They constantly want your thoughts. But now, once again, like I keep asking, who are you doing it for? Because remember, I don't mind making videos for my supporters, but always remember, before anybody found me, I've been doing this shit. Before anybody found you, Miss Ariel, and anybody else who's watching this video who wants to also get the answers as well, who are you doing it for? Because remember, when you say something wrong to people's fragile ego, they'll go watch somebody else. They'll go find somebody else to look up to. You can't get mad about that because your supporters are cheating on you because they found somebody else who's influential. No, just be better. Always remember, before you had anybody else in your lifestyle, you always had yourself. No matter what you do in divine oneness, all you have is you and Source. When you're stuck with Source, when you're in that relationship with Source, you develop into being a better man and woman. So now you start pouring all this love you have for yourself, all this attention you have for yourself into other people, to where now you're literally just a walking magnet for positive energy and negative energy as well. You become so infinite in the physical to where dense energies will start wanting to be close to you. And even positive energies as well, even rich energies. All these different energies out here will want to focus on you because the war is about energy. When you retain this energy, when you focus, when you stay locked in on your purpose every single day, you cannot lose. They can't even beat you. Not only just that, they will realize, okay, the more energy you have, they will start being more aware. They'll be more cautious of stepping towards you because they fear what you're becoming, because they know that you walk with a source that they've been looking for the whole entire time. They're looking for that God or that Christ consciousness. And then when you become that being that they've been looking for, they have one or two choices. Either trap you into what they expected, or they fall back and observe what they expected you to be the whole entire time. You got two choices. Lose yourself in the process, but be a god of this world, or you sit back, observe your life, and become famous for focusing on you. That's all it is to it. Either You're going to focus on yourself and go in that realm and get a life loaned to you, or you're going to sit back, observe your life, get better every single day in boredom, by the way, because it is boring to become great and successful because you got to do the same thing every single day. So you are insane. Get the fuck away from me. God damn. You are insane. But with that insanity, how can that boredom fuel you to get better every single day? Because you're not where you want to be at. So you can't get comfortable. You're not where you want to be. So you want to get to where you want to be, start being bored. The more bored you are, the easier it becomes to just do the works that you've been fruitful in. Be fruitful and you'll multiply your consciousness. Once you're doing that, once you're able to sit there and exist with the things that you've been practicing, the Almighty knows that, you know what, you can enjoy the fruits of your labor because I've seen the work that you've been putting in. You sacrifice having sex with people, going on dates, spending money on this mindless shit. You sacrifice getting on the internet and just scrolling all day. You weren't wasting your time. You weren't masturbating. You weren't watching the websites. You weren't eating dead energies. You weren't focusing on people who can't benefit you in life, who can't help you in life or help themselves in life. All you did was get up every single day. You said thank you. You were grateful. You were able to be mindful. You were able to start gazing upon the higher energy that's able to show you how powerful your mind is. Not only just that, you're able to ground yourself because no matter how high you get in life, you always stay grounded. That's exactly why I'm practicing what I'm already going to be. A lot of people know who I'm going to be already. So when they see that it's going to be popular being myself, they'll now want to be grounded in my mindset. All I did was set my mind on leveling myself into being in humility. Because what is being humble? No, I'm going to talk my shit behind closed doors. But the thing is, though, me talking my shit does nothing for me. Because why? I know where I'm going to be in life. It requires patience. That's the thing right there. Social media has taught us to be so fixated on instant gratification that we can't even sit with ourselves and focus on ourselves because we want to be like everybody else. We want to be like everybody else to where now we don't know who we are anymore because we're sitting there, we're pleasing synthetic opinions that can't even create their own content. It's like these opinions on the internet can't even create content. So why are you trying to please them when they can't be pleased? That's the problem. These people will follow so many Freemasons and yet it's still not enough. They gotta follow somebody else. And then when this person says something different, they'll follow them. But it's like, bro, you're a robot, you're a follower, you're a consumer. When somebody says something that just sounds so profound, it just sounds so out of this world, you have to put your mind and you set your intentions to follow that way of hearing. But when you stop hearing people say you contradict it, you ask yourself, I ain't gonna lie, you're not contradicting yourself, so you can't be real. That's exactly why I tell people, contradict everything, question everything. Contradict everything, question everything. When you contradict everything in this world, you will now realize that people who can't do it are not being themselves and they're not real beings to begin with, because the beings who are already going to be, let's say, righteous for walking in a better way of living, they don't have to sit there and have a one-way mind. No, I can say things, but then I go back on what I say, and I even just go back. I move forward by being aware of what I'm saying, because why am I saying that thought? Because there's a reason behind what I'm saying, because when it's not me really saying it, it's my observation pouring out the thoughts that have to get away from me. I got to detach from the thoughts that overrun my overthinking pattern. So to get away from that pattern, to be authentic within myself, to heal myself, get the thoughts out that never mattered to me, because they matter to a physical source that traps the consciousness that isn't able to be aware of what it wants to become, and the delusion that we dream in. When you start going away from the dream that they want you to dream in, you now become a dreamer, watching dreamers become sleep in a dream that they are not able to be awake in. When you become awake in your dream, you stop dreaming in their prophecy. They prophesize that you will always come back and expose them for what they've been doing for centuries, for eons. But now that you realize that, you don't focus on them no more. Now you got to pay attention to them because they're deceitful. There's a movie called Never Let Go with Halle Berry. And it was basically her and her two children. They were in the woods, and there was an evil. There was this evil to where if you let go of this rope, the rope attached you to the house, or her grandma and grandpa's house. If you let go of this rope, the evil will touch you. The evil touches you, you are now possessed. Exactly why, as well, the whole entire world was possessed. And I realized in this, when I seen what the being looked like, so the boy Samuel, her son, who was more aware of the youngest son, they were both aware, but Samuel lost his way. And the youngest son, who was going against his mom, he was the one that survived, the whole entire plague. But I realized that when he left the house or whatever, he had the rope. He was chasing this white girl because she was finding her dad that Samuel killed. And then the youngest brother took the food to feed him and his brother because their mom committed suicide because the younger brother locked the mom into this shed or whatever with the demonic frequency. And so when she slit her throat, that's when now the two sons were by themselves. So now when Samuel was in the woods, I seen what the being looked like. So the demon that was possessing, I wouldn't say the demon, but the virus that was plaguing everybody, it was like, man, have you seen the movie King Kong? If you see the movie King Kong, it's like an extended version with Jack Black and all that. That was like the oldest version, or the first one that I seen. It was an extended version to where they were in a swamp, and then there was like in the water, there was like these little, I don't know how to describe them. They're not centipedes. It's like a worm, but the mouth is or Dune. So even like in Dune as well, in the ground, there's like these gigantic worms, and like their mouth is like a circle, and like the teeth is like all around the mouth or whatever. That's exactly what that virus was like. And Never Let Go, when Samuel was like wondering where the girl was, he seen that this girl was climbing a tree, but she had 6 arms now, so she was possessed by the frequency. Because remember, Never Let Go, that rope was saving them from the grace of the Almighty Creator in that house or whatever, because they were protected by that source. So from that guardianship, when he let go of that, he was in the middle of the woods and his little brother was looking for him. But then that's when the vibration took over. So the vibration, like, it got close to him, like it had its neck turned, and then it shifted, like the virus came out of the girl, and then it went right into his throat. Pause. So then now he's on his knees, he's on his hands, and he's like throwing up, regurgitating all the information, all the ignorance. So now once the being, like, it climbed into his mouth, and it's like a worm, it's like a parrot, it's like a hydra. So even in like the movie The Matrix, all these different, that's why I say demons don't exist, they're parasites. So when these parasites, when they get into your body, when you digest them, now you're under their spell casting. It got to the point to where now, when a being climbed into his mouth, it's like in the movie, you can see it. So if you pause it, it's like it went into his mouth, and then when it did that, he was like throwing up. After that, he was like on the ground, like just, it was in his body. He was just like, ugh. He was possessed and shit. His eyes were on the back of his head. It was over with. So now he was basically playing as his brother, as the younger brother's older brother, Samuel. Well, yeah, he's younger by like 3 minutes or whatever. But that's when he lost his way. After that, I was noticing for myself, the younger brother had to go to war with the delusions that his older brother was putting onto him, but it was the energy. That's all it was. The younger brother knew that the evil was his mom, because his mom, and the thing is too, they were eating tree bark. When I mean tree bark, it was so bad, they were cutting up the bark from the tree, and she was like sizzling, like she was cooking it, putting sap on it, putting spices on it, and they were eating that for dinner. It was so bad, their dog, Coda, she was going to sacrifice her dog so that they can be fed. And then it got so bad to where Samuel went with his mom's orders. And then the younger brother understood, oh, the war is really against them two, because they're already possessed by the evil. Because if you think that killing your dog, your guardian, because the thing is as well, the dog ran away from the home because the dog understood that the evil now was in the house. So when the younger brother ended up finding his older brother, the dog was like, well, no, the younger brother wanted to find Coda, the dog. And so the dog just ran away into the woods or whatever and just laid there till the brother got rescued by this rescue crew or whatever, because the house got burnt up by Samuel. And Samuel was the one that burnt up the house. And the thing is as well, the mom said, y'all know where the camera is, and they didn't know where the camera was. But Samuel turned around and took a picture of the house that he burnt. He burnt the house that saved him. Because remember, Samuel was possessed now, and the being was smiling to the point to where now it was talking to the brother saying, nobody's coming to save you. And he was trying to kill his brother, and he wanted to possess him so that now you can be in the same exact unholy trinity, just like their mom wanted them to be. or be like. And Samuel ended up saying too in the ending when they were in the helicopter, excuse me, the dog followed them, by the way. So they were in the helicopter flying over the woods. And the dog Coda realized where they were going. So the dog is just running, barking, and you can see the helicopter just going, but the dog is following them because now the dog noticed like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. Like it's more to it. But the younger brother seeing, he was like, my brother, where's my brother? I need my brother. And Leia said, it's okay, he's right here. Not knowing that the demon followed the source that it was trying to get towards. That's basically what I'm getting at. No matter where you go, you cannot stop them from reaching you. So when you understand that, you have to always be aware of your family, your friends, the people that you work with, the people that follow you, the people that DM you, the people that support you. Because all it's going to be now that I'm telling you all this is just energy. It's energetic warfare. That's all it is every single day. And the thing is too, I realized that the more that I started to know, the less I wanted to know because I was just existing in a realm that needed more energy. So the more energy I bring for myself, the more that people want that energy from me. That's exactly why it's been tiring, not only just doing this camp counseling and after school counseling and all that, but even just putting it towards my videos as well. Excuse me. That's exactly why I gotta find time on the weekend to give y'all quality videos because it's a constant drainage from not only just the managers, but the kids as well. Because when I come into the establishment, all I can see is their parasites. How do you think that makes me feel? Excuse me. And the thing is too, when people ask me, do I make videos on this stuff? Do I talk about this stuff? Do I teach people this stuff? I tell them like yes and no because people can't comprehend it. And the thing is too, I don't want anybody to comprehend my thoughts because if you start comprehending my thoughts, now it's like you'll want to become an imitation of my spirit and you'll mimic it. And if I catch you doing that shit, you have to expose people like that. So Miss Ariel, or to anybody else as well, when you think differently, when you move differently, when you create differently, people will have to imitate your works. Don't feel upset about that. Don't get discouraged about that. Don't feel some kind of way about that. That's their purpose. That's exactly why you are a creative. No matter what you do, you create for your benefit. You create for your betterment because they can't be better for themselves at all whatsoever. Because if they could, they would create for a future version of themselves, but they can't do that. So when you're understanding how to be a conscious creator, you're now making content to make you more conscious. Once again, it's two choices. Either you can live a life that they have handled for you, or you can observe a life that they have handled for you, but you go about it your way. Because remember, this life that we're in right now is not meant for us to be living at all whatsoever. They made us what we think we are for today. They put us in a certain box that we are stuck in mentally. So when they're squaring your consciousness, all you have is you and that source within. When you love yourself, you don't let money tell you what to do with your life. You become the currency that you are forever going to be prosperous or abundant in. When you become spiritually rich, you don't care about the material riches in this world. The material riches in this world cannot make you feel rich or free. Because if you want to become free in this world, detach from money, people, trends, social media, family, topics, titles, like all this ideology, detach from that and be with silence, be with your truth, sit with it. When you do that, there is no, how should I do this? Where should I go about that? There is no signing over to them. Being underground, being unknown is the way that you'll be known because there'll come a year to where people will say, damn, it's been 10 or 15 years and I haven't even watched your videos before, but now you're on my For You page and I'm just like, no, I'm intrigued by your journey. I'm watching all your videos and all you did was focus on you. Because why? You put the focus of life on you. Because don't forget, life is focusing on you when you always focus on you. And when you focus on you, they'll approach you. And when you say no to them, they can't harm you, but always remember, they will always have their eye on you because they know who you are. But do you know who you are outside of content creation? Always remember, you're not creating content. All you're doing is being conscious of the thoughts that you are creating for a better version of your ignorant past self, building a better future for the life that you want to live currently. Have a great and divine day, Divine Reflections.